In this second video on integration, we're going to have a look at integrals which involve a bit of manipulation. This is going to be the first one of a couple of videos we're going to do on that. Now, I don't know if you remember, but if we get a power on the bottom line of a fraction and we wish to move it to the top line, we show that by using a negative with the power. So, this one. Now, the other thing is, remember, the power only applies to the x, not the 4. So the 4 stays where it is. So that becomes x to the power minus 3 over 4, and we are integrating it with respect to x. So we've got that. Now, remember what the rule is for integrating? We increase the power by 1. So instead of minus 3, it's going to go up to minus 2. And we have to divide by the new power. But dividing by minus 2 is the same as multiplying the bottom line by minus 2. So that's what I'm going to do. So we have 4 times minus 2 on the bottom line, and I mustn't forget to add on my constant of integration, c. So let's tidy this up a bit. 4 times minus 2 is minus 8. But we normally put the minus on the top line. So first of all, I could write this like that. But if I want to give it back in the same form I was given it, I need the x term to be on the bottom line with a positive index. Now, remember that minus x to the minus 2 really means minus 1 times x to the minus 2. So it's only the x term we are moving to the bottom line. So that would become minus 1 over 8x squared plus some constant of integration, c. And that would be the same form as we're given it. And that would be the question finished. If we have a look at the second one, we've got a power and we've got a root. I don't know if you remember, but in index form, remember, the powers are the numerators, the top line of a fraction, and the roots are the denominators, the bottom line of a fraction. So I could actually write this one as integral x to the power 2/5 dx. Okay? So the 2's on the top line, the 5's on the bottom line. So, now I'm going to integrate that. Now, we want to increase it by 1, but we wouldn't normally write a power as 1 2/5. We would normally write it as an improper or top-heavy fraction. 1, remember, is the same as 5/5. So we're going to have here, instead of 2/5, it's going to go up to 7/5. Okay? So that gives me x to the power 7 over 5, and that's all over 4. But I must also divide by the new power, which is 7 over 5, which is the same as multiplying the bottom line by 7 over 5, and I must add my constant of integration, c. Okay, 4 times 7 is 28. Now, dividing on the bottom line is the same as multiplying on the top line. So I could write this as 5 x to the power 7 over 5 all over 28 plus c. And doing our last trick again, we wanted it as a power and root combination rather than just an index. So I could write that as 5 28ths 5th root of x to the power 7 plus c. Remember, that's the same as writing 5 5th root of x to the power 7 all over 28. You can write it as 5 over 28 times it, or 5 times that all over 28. It's the same thing. Okay, that would be that question finished. Let's have a look at this last one here. Now, it's a little bit sneaky in that, remember, if we just write a root sign, we really mean the square root, so really mean a 2 there. So we know the denominator is going to be 2, the numerator's going to be 3 when we're talking about our power. So I could write that as the integral of 4 over x to the power 3 over 2 dx. But we want that on the top line, remember, so we also need a negative. So that's the integral of 4 x to the power minus 3 over 2 dx. Now we can integrate. So remember, we're increasing it by 1. Well, 1 more than minus 3 over 2 is minus a half. Okay, so that would give me 4 x to the power minus a half. Remember, we must divide by the new power, which is minus a half, plus some constant of integration, c. Now, if I divide by minus a half, it's the same as multiplying by minus 2. So that's going to give me minus 8 x to the power minus a half plus c. But again, we'd like it as a root combination. So that would be the same as minus 8 over the square root. Remember, we don't have to put a 2 in there. I could if I wanted. Square root of x plus c. Okay, that's how we deal with variables on the bottom line and combinations of powers and roots. You should be able to do the questions in the second exercise now.